You're listening to the Uplevel Your Online Business Show, where wealth is empowering, purpose is crucial, and high vibes are non-negotiable. And now, here's your host, certified business coach and practical woo strategist, Sarah J. Loureiro.
All right, welcome back to another episode of the Uplevel Your Online Business Show. This is going to be a more expansive episode that is about really priming your business to, I would say, around the 7-figure a year mark, which is what we are now aiming for as a team, which is really, really exciting. I've never aimed for this goal in the past. So I've been restructuring things, and I want to explain to you how you can restructure your team and how you can even build your team to get to new levels in your business. And what I always say is you can probably get to 6 figures or maybe even multiple 6 figures with one assistant. And sometimes you can get to 6 figures without an assistant at all. That's if you're putting a whole bunch of time in your business, which I've never really had the time to be spending 50 hours a week working on my business. So even when I was at the 5K month mark, I already had an assistant, or I was already getting an assistant. But once you get up to bigger and bigger levels of your business, you're going to want to start to think about who you're going to be putting in each level of your business that's highly skilled, and what the difference is between high skilled and low skilled type work, and how to utilize people who are a little bit less skilled who could be more affordable for you for less skilled jobs. And then of course use higher skilled people for higher skilled jobs, so that you're not spending a ton of money on team every single month, because there's nothing worse than being like, yeah, I just made a 10K month, but like 9,000 of that is getting paid to your team, or 8,000 of that is getting paid to your team. Ideally, you want to have your team growing at a pace where you're not spending more than 30% of what you're making back into your operations and everything else in your business. So we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about the first team members that I've hired, my best practices, and the ways that we are scaling right now that are making all of the difference in terms of my own energy and what I can bring to the business and ultimately to the table, right? And to the model and momentum and mission that we're really creating over here at sarahjloureiro.com. So my very first hire was actually in 2018 when I was making around 5K a month. And I knew that one of my strategies at the time was posting into Facebook groups. And I knew that there were a lot of things that I was doing that were just really tiring and really, really tedious. And so I hired my first team member. She worked around 2 to 3 hours per day. And it felt so incredible for me to not have to spend all of that time posting into Facebook groups. I didn't have to spend time batching my content, putting out photos to go with my content. I didn't have to spend time doing all of that kind of stuff. Back in 2018, videos weren't really a huge thing online. Right now they are, but it was just so helpful for her to be able to do those things for me, to schedule emails, to approve people in my Facebook group, essentially all of these different things that I didn't have to be doing in my business. And since 2018, I've always had that type of assistant. Now, that's what I would consider very low skilled work. So for someone to just be posting things, for someone to be approving friend requests, for someone to be approving Facebook group requests, for someone to be putting out a very simple like welcome message to people, or scheduling your emails, or creating landing pages, all of those things are relatively low skilled type jobs, really, right? And low skilled tasks. And so one of the biggest mistakes that I usually see with a lot of my clients who come to me who've already had team members who can't keep up with their business expenses is because they're paying people $40 an hour to be doing that type of work. And the problem with that becomes then my clients are the ones who then need to do their sales calls. They're the ones who need to publish all their content. They're the ones who need to do their generation. They're still having to do things like pay for Facebook ads. But then someone who's scheduling posts and doing landing pages and things like that is getting a really, really big chunk of their revenue coming in from month to month. And so one thing that I always suggest in terms of organizing team is to make sure that all of the low skilled work could be given to people who are offshore. So people who are, for example, who live in the Philippines, who live in India, who live in different parts of the world where their GDP is relatively lower and their cost of living is significantly lower too. So they can really afford to get paid, like $4 to $6 to $10 an hour to do these low skill tasks. And then that way, you're not having to pay someone else $40 an hour. In fact, I've done this with clients before where we've looked at their $40 an hour assistant and then we've said, okay, we're going to give this work to that assistant. So it's not like we're going to let this assistant go, but now we're going to give the highly skilled work to that assistant and we're going to take another assistant. We might decrease the hours of the $40 an hour assistant and then give other hours to someone who's doesn't require as much skill to do their work. We can pay them, let's say, for example, $6 an hour, and then boom, we actually slash the amount of money that you're spending on team in half, but you're still getting one, highly skilled work, and two, you're also you're getting a lot more work done for your business. So then you have a lot more opportunities for you to focus on your zone of genius and also to have your team members helping you with income generating activities. That's another piece of really restructuring and making sure that you're creating a team that's helping you with your energy levels and helping you stay in your zone of genius, is that they're actually doing things in your business that are income generating. So what do I mean by that? Lead generation, helping you with your Facebook ads, helping you with your copy. If someone's only helping you to tweak your website and schedule emails and do your branding colors and doing your graphics, and let's say, for example, editing podcast episodes, that's not going to help you bring on clients, right? A lot of the really exhausting work for a business owner is things like developing relationships with your ideal clients, is having conversations with people on the daily basis, is sales calls, let's say, for example. And so when you're paying your team members a lot of money per hour and they're not even doing things that are going to help you bring more people into your business, that to me is not an efficient use of your team. And it's only going to keep you in a cycle of overwhelm because then you have to do all of the things that require the most energy for your business. So that would be one of the first things that I'd always say is make sure that the skills that each and every person is doing, or the tasks that every person is doing, are conducive to their skill sets. Because the last thing that you want is to be hiring someone and paying them, let's say $3,000, $4,000 a month to be doing these tasks that you can be paying someone $6 an hour to do. And then at the end of the day, you still need to be doing so much work in your business that is getting you the clients. And that is going to keep you exhausted. And I've seen clients come to me where that's the system that they had in their business, and it really does not serve them. So one of the very first team members that I always get my clients to hire is someone who's going to help them to schedule, repurpose content, and just do a lot of very, very basic lead generation. So either find out where their ideal clients can be hanging out on the internet, approving friend requests, scheduling content, sending out welcome messages, things like that. Things where you don't necessarily need to be in those specific areas of your business. And so once you have someone who's doing all of those tasks for you, and you have a really great groove with that, you're going to find that you're not spending time on really tedious tasks that you don't really need to be doing. And you have more energy to be focusing on the higher skilled tasks, which are things like relationship building, responding to comments, planning out live streams, doing Facebook ads, let's say, for example, doing outreach, getting on other podcasts, things like that are going to help you to grow your business. Now, then there becomes a time in your business where you have someone focusing on that, but then that person just can't do the higher skilled activities because maybe English isn't their first language, or maybe they don't understand your community as well as you do, or maybe they just don't have experience in specific areas of business or areas of, let's say, for example, running Facebook ads or knowing what to say to your community. And so that's when you're at a level in your business where you have your first assistant and then you're also really, really overwhelmed with all of the other tasks that you have. I definitely experienced this at the multiple six-figure level. So it was not at six figures. I could still get myself with one assistant and it was working really, really well. In fact, even when I was at about the 20K month mark, it was still just one person who was working with me, and I could deal with everything in my business. It wasn't until I really kind of went above that, and this was specifically in 2022, where I knew I needed to hire highly skilled or higher skilled people in my business. And so I needed to hire people who understood my community. I needed to hire people who understood my tone, understood my mission, and who were very similar to me culturally. So people who were either from my own country or, let's say, for example, North American, where they understood even how to read in between the lines in terms of interacting with some of my customer base or my client base, helping me to create content, helping me to source it, helping to put specific things into my reels, things like that. And it wasn't until I really started to get up to the 40K a month mark that it became apparent that I needed someone who was higher skilled in my business. And so as soon as I found that person who understood what I was doing culturally and who knew how to read in between the lines and who knew how to even just write an email for me without having any spelling mistakes and truly understanding the voice and the mission of the business, that was when I started to understand that not only were my team members going to help me to do repetitive tasks that I didn't need to do, but now my team members also were going to step into the role of helping me to do things that I could do, but that they can do better than me. And that was a really, really big shift when I realized, there's someone else out there who could actually be reading messages and responding to messages better than I can. Or there's actually someone else out there who can repurpose a live training and send an email out about it, who can be doing either the same or better than I can in terms of writing my own content. And that's when things really started to shift me, because then I started to understand that the value or the amount that I could grow was directly related to how valuable my team members were and how highly skilled my team members were. And so when I started to hire people for skill sets, that's when everything really started to change. And then that's the really fun part about restructuring your team and restructuring what are people doing in your team in order for you to fully grow, because then it's not just about you delegating tasks. It's about different team members in different areas of your business who are going to even initiate the tasks and know exactly what to do in the business every single day to bring it forward. It's no longer about you having to tell people what to do every day. It's those people knowing how they contribute to the overall mission of your business. And that's not something that, let's say, for example, a really low skilled worker who's just going to get tasks done is going to fully understand. And so having someone on your team who understands the mission, who understands how to move forward is so key to going and increasing and going past the $250,000 mark in your business. And what we're doing now, which is really exciting, and I think this is something that I've been doing with my team over the past 2 years, is the constant restructuring of team to understand who fits in with what skill sets and what skill sets are required in your business in order to move it forward. And so for my business, I have about 4 different skill sets right now that I currently outsource. So the first one is someone who understands content. And so someone who's really great at content, who understands content and how to repurpose it and how to schedule it and how to write it is going to help you loads, especially if content isn't your strong suit. And so that person can really help you with your posting. They can help you with email writing, but they can also even help you with things like Instagram stories, things like planning events, planning your launches, because they understand the messaging and the marketing behind your business. So that person is going to be invaluable to you, especially if content isn't your strong suit. Now, that's never been the first person that I've hired, because I happen to really enjoy content, and the vast majority of my content that you see online has been written by me. So I usually only get my content person to repurpose my content, to quickly write emails, let's say, for example, that are based off of my live streams, to do calls to action in stories for me, And what I've recently also had them do, which has been a huge game changer for me, is I basically just give them a whole bunch of tracks for videos and then they create reels for me. So that's also been so helpful because I don't need to be creating my reels, right? I just need to be shooting the content and shooting the footage, but someone else can create it for me. And as long as they understand the messaging of my business, they can put the messaging within the reel. And so that's something that I recently created in terms of a skill set and in terms of a job within my business, within my team, is someone who is the content manager. I have always hired out people who have helped me do outreach. And so someone who's helping with outreach and helping with engagement and helping with following up with potential clients and helping you understand when you need to go out and follow up with people who are potential clients, that is huge because then you don't have to focus all your energy on that on a daily basis. You don't have to be the one who is thinking, oh, what if this person doesn't like me? What if this person responds terribly? Or how do I transition this into a sale? Because you have someone else there who's either doing that for you or helping you with that specific task in your business. And when you can find the right person, once again, this is about finding highly skilled people who have the right skill sets for each position. That is going to be a huge game changer. Another big skill set that I found for online business that is really, really helpful and absolutely necessary, in my opinion, is someone who understands video editing and audio editing. And this doesn't have to be someone who you spend a ton of money on every month, but I found that having a podcast production editor is highly, highly beneficial for me because I've tried to train other people with it. And there's some people who just don't understand audio quality and don't understand video quality. And just having someone who understands that, who's super, super techie, who's really great with all of the technology aspects of audio and video is just so amazing. And I've had mentors before who've told me that you can just hire anyone into these roles. I actually don't believe that that's true. I really do believe that people who handle visuals, graphics, and audio and video need to be people who have that art of looking for design, of looking for quality in terms of the design and in terms of the way that we hear things and in terms of the way that we see things. So people who actively care about the way that things look and the way that things sound is so important to maintain a certain level of professionalism inside of your business. So that is another skill set that I hire for, that I have within my team, that just makes all of the difference for me. And so lately, what I've been doing is instead of having one person who's kind of working on a little bit of each area of my business, which is what I've done in the past, which once again served me really well up until a certain point in my business, served me up until I would say like 25, 30K a month. And then once I was ready to kind of spill over into something bigger, now what we've done is I've restructured my team so that I can get people into these different skill set buckets and people who have great motivation, people who are inspiring, people who like working for me. That's another really important part of finding people the right skill sets and making sure that they're in the right jobs, making sure that they are in the right positions where they're doing work that's in their zone of genius, that they're doing work that they really enjoy. Because if they're doing work inside your business that they really enjoy, they're going to give you an incredible return on investment. And because I've been hiring people since 2018, I now have developed my own systems that I share with my clients in terms of how to find these people, what to put in applications, how to interview these people, how to select the right people, how to train them, how to optimize their work. Optimizing their work is so important to ensure high performance. And ultimately just kind of how to hire the right people for the right skill sets. And it's been really incredible to even see my own evolution in terms of the way that I've done this and the way that I teach this, because I think a lot of people go into hiring team members in terms of just posting a job, going through 100 applications, being super overwhelmed with it, trying to get on 10 interviews and not even knowing what to ask people once they get on these interviews with you. And so much of what you do in terms of hiring people can just be done in an application form where you automatically disqualify like 80% of people who come onto the application, and you're only getting the go-getters. That's another really important part of the skills that come with hiring team and really making sure that you're getting people who are going to achieve and want to achieve specific outcomes with you. Even having really important KPIs, really important metrics, having incentives like commissions can really help to motivate your team. And once again, help you to make sure that your team is also in income generating activities so that all of that pressure to get clients isn't just on your shoulders. Because at the end of the day, most of us just want to teach. We just want to teach and help and provide service. And so the more that we can help or have other people help us to get clients, the less we need to do to get the clients. And then the more time that we can spend with the actual clients themselves. I mean, like, how amazing would that be, right? And so this year, I am actually taking on a brand new role where I even decided for myself that I'm no longer going to be taking on my sales calls. And that was a huge shift for me. It was really hard for me too, because I had in my head that no one else would be able to do sales calls as good as me, and that no one would be able to close the same way that I close my sales calls, that people wouldn't want to hear from someone else, that they'd only want to hear from me, that the minute that someone else gets on a sales call, they'd automatically think, well, I'm not hiring this Sarah person because she can't even get on my calls. And so I really had to rework and train my mindset around that and just kind of ask myself, well, what makes me so special? Really? What makes me so special that someone else can't do sales calls for me, that someone else can't actually help someone understand the value of my services? If anything, I'm not actually even that good at sales. I don't consider myself to be this amazing salesperson. And if I can get someone else who, once again, takes all of that energy and allows me to not have to be the one who's worrying about how many clients we're getting each and every month and how many people that we're getting into our programs and how many calls are being booked. If I can get someone else to do that, and if I can once again, refocus myself into my zone of genius, which is serving my clients, I'm going to give my clients better results. I'm going to give my clients better support. They're going to get better results. And then the testimonials are going to be better too. And then with all of that, it just becomes, your business becomes so much bigger than you. It becomes its own thing where it's just like, okay, I'm no longer the person who has to be in every area of this business. It's actually more profitable and more beneficial to my clients if I have people working in different areas of my business so that I can focus on the things that I do best, which is coaching, right? Which is mentorship. And so if I can take my ego out of this, right? Take my ego out of this, take my money fears out of this and just say, hey, this business is best served and these clients in this business are best served if we have people in different skill sets in different areas of the business. Boom. That is when you can really prep your business for exponential growth, because you're no longer relying on the skill sets that you have, because we all have a finite set of skill sets. We're not good at everything, but when we can hire people who are exceptionally good at specific areas of our business, and we can hire people who are just as motivated and just as inspired about our movement and our mission as we are, that's when we can create incredible change, because then our business becomes so much bigger than us, becomes the movement. It becomes the mission that we started with, and we're no longer holding the business and the mission back from expanding into its true potential. And so if you are at that level of business or any level of business right now where you know that you need to hire someone, I would look at all of these things that I just spoke about. But most importantly, I would look at, are you holding yourself back from your business's bigger mission? Because the business isn't just about you. I always say this. You are a vessel for change. It's not about you as a person. It's about the mission and the voice and the message that you know that you're here to give to other people. It's about the service that you want to provide to others, whether that's free or paid. And the longer that you keep thinking that you're the only person who can do all of the aspects of your business, is the longer that you're holding that message back and you're keeping yourself from being able to expand that message and really reach more people with that message that isn't just about you. So the next time that you're thinking about hiring someone, that you're thinking about restructuring and you're thinking, well, I can just do that, you're probably holding yourself back. You're probably holding yourself back from greatness, and not just yourself, but you're probably holding back all of these people who need to hear the amazing gift that only you can provide. And the only way that you can provide that gift to its highest potential is if you have other people working on other areas of your business so that you can focus on that highest potential with what it is that you do best. Okay. So hopefully this was a really great kick in the pants that you needed. Hopefully you feel super inspired to go out there and to hire the best team possible. Remember, it's very strategic. So you don't go hiring everyone all at once. You want to make sure that you have a system for hiring. And yeah, just go out there and rock it. And just remember that you have a much bigger message to share. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll catch you next time.
Thanks for listening to the Uplevel Your Online Business Show. If you enjoy our show and would like the show notes and free goodies about how to grow your online coaching business, head over to sarahjlorero.com for more information. We hope you'll tune in next time.